Hello, I think we are live now. Hi, Emily. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, I'm so happy to be here today.
I know, I can't believe we haven't chatted until now. It's been too
It's
long.
crazy.
We've done a lot of stuff together, so it's really nice to meet in
Yeah,
person.
it's crazy. Yeah, thank you for all the support over the last year or so. I appreciate it.
Of course, I'm a big fan of you and what you do. So it's good to hang out for 30
Yeah.
minutes. Um, to kick things off, why don't you just give everyone? I'm sure most people know who you are, but for those of you that might not, let's just do an intro. Who are you? What do you do? What is Westfield
Yes.
Creative?
Who am I? I am an email marketer, and I also own a small little micro agency called Westfield Creative, and we are MailChimp partners. And we work with brands and businesses of all shapes and sizes, doing mostly managing their kind of weekly emails. So we've worked with large, well known brands like Sparkling Ice, and we've worked with Columbia University. But we've also worked with like literally your hardware store on the corner and all kinds of businesses. So we do lots of emails. We're a small team of three, and I'm based outside of Chicago. Oh, Naomi's here. I love her. Saying hi to her. And
Anyone?
um, and yeah, we there's three of us. My sister is I'm lucky enough to get to work with my sister on emails every day, and yeah, I have three children, and a lot of my work revolves around balancing business and children, and so a lot of people know me from my kids screaming in the background of calls. So that may happen.
We may hear one on this call potentially.
You probably will.
Yeah,
Ninety
no
nine
problem.
percent chance.
Yeah, yeah. That's totally fine with me. Can you give me some background on how did you start Westfield and start working with your sister? Be interested in how
Yeah.
that came about.
So yeah, it's crazy. So we're going on our 10th year, which is
Oh
mind
wow.
blowing to me. 10 will be in January, and I actually started as a virtual assistant back in 2015. I wanted to work from home. I just had a little baby, and I was like, what can I do to? I have to figure out a way to work from home. I've always been pretty tech savvy since I was a kid. So someone's like, you should just be a virtual assistant. So I started doing that and quickly found a few of the clients that I first got, they all needed help with their newsletter in MailChimp. So I kept working on clients' newsletters over and over. And I'm like, like this is really creative. I'm a really creative person. So I loved it. And I was like, let's get away from the word assistant and just focus on email and let me learn everything I can. Like literally taught myself on YouTube or whatever, and tried to really learn MailChimp, the ins and outs of the platform, and then really got into just email marketing overall. So over time, we just kind of grew our agency from literally one client paying us, I think it was like $35 an hour, my first client, to working with great, like well-known brands over the years. So it's been amazing. And joining, becoming a MailChimp partner really helped kind of
Hmm.
help our business explode.
I know you're kind of known as the Mailchimp person. I feel like. Do you only work with Mailchimp, or do you work with other? Like, if I
Question.
wanted you to work on like a different platform, will you do
Yeah.
that, or is it like Mailchimp or die? Like, I,
Well, it's interesting. So when I first started, we worked in all different platforms. I worked in Constant Contact all the time. I worked in
Mhm,
Flowdesk, and but just found there was a big need for Mailchimp work. So I said, just as kind of a strategy, let's really like market ourselves as a Mailchimp
mhm.
expert, and so that just helped us grow a lot. That being said, I do have clients in Klaviyo. I love Klaviyo. I use it. Quite often with one of our bigger clients. So we are a Klaviyo partner as well. So I do work in kind of Mailchimp and Klaviyo.
Yeah, that makes sense. So even though you're at the Mailchimp team, yeah, you still have people coming in. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got you. I got you. Now you have your own newsletter, which I feel like is getting more and more popular. I really enjoy it. I feel like it's really smart how you send it on a Sunday. I never would have guessed or like I never would have personally thought I'll send this on a Sunday. How did
And
you decide to do that? Because
I don't know. Um, Yeah, that's a good question. I always love the idea of like a Sunday morning, like I remember my parents always like reading the newspaper with their cup of
Hmm.
coffee. And so I love the idea of like just having like a slow morning, like looking at some really fun links in an email. And so I randomly started, I think, sending it on Sundays and found that the open rates were great.
Hmm.
And so I just kept doing it, and the open rates have always remained really, really amazing. So I keep doing it, and sometimes I miss it. Like sometimes I don't get it done, and it goes out on Monday, and that's fine. But it's taught me a lot about, does the send day really matter? Like, does the send time really matter?
Do you think it does? Because you are pretty consistent.
Yeah, I mean, I try to. I think being consistent matters. Like people know, like I'm going to send my Sunday email. I do. I don't think the send time. I've tried so many different send times. Like I'll send in the morning, I'll send in the afternoon, like when the email gets done.
Hmm.
And I think as long as people are aware of your brand or your company, I think they're going to open it. And it doesn't always work that way, but whether you send at 10 a.m. or 2 p.m., I think it's more about your brand. Uh, so it's
Interesting.
the
Yeah, that
time. The
makes.
time I feel like is not as crucial always.
Hmm.
I mean, Black Friday, of course, there are certain things where timing is so important, but for a weekly newsletter that Emily is sending, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you have trained people to look out for it on a Sunday. I think, like,
It's true.
you wake up on Sunday, it's like, oh, I bet Emily's newsletter is going to be in my inbox.
It's true.
So
It's true.
I think that works. Yeah, I have definitely a more ad hoc approach to sending my newsletter, where it's
Yeah.
going out when it's done approach,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is like
Well, it's also,
I don't have time to like test it that heavily
yeah,
or like figure out the best send time. I actually use send time
totally.
optimization, so like I don't know what time you receive it, but it's different for every person, for most
Yeah.
people. So.
And I think that is an amazing tool because it's literally looking at your subscribers.
Mhm.
It's not just like a general suggestion, it's looking at when your subscribers are most likely to open. So I think that's a really great tool.
Yeah. Any other insights from sending your own newsletter that you can share with us? Because
Yeah,
sending your own newsletter is a little bit different to sending it for clients. I think, like
it
at
is.
least
It's
from
so
my perspective, it's you learn a little bit more, and it's interesting to when it's your own newsletter.
Oh yeah, it's totally different. And that's why it's really special to me when it gets recognized because I'm like, this is not client work. Like this
Hmm.
is just kind of like my fun little project that I'm doing, for fun. I
Hmm.
would say for me, it always comes down to just getting great content for people. I can tell a difference on weeks when I'm like, oh, these links that I'm sharing maybe aren't the most exciting versus, especially like looking at the click rates. But it comes down to how you word things, how you word your links. I've really tried to learn, and I look at other newsletters, and I'm going to share actually one that Tattly does a really good job of this.
Mm.
But I really focus on wanting people to click. It's like a game for me. Like, just please click on this link and read it. So how you word your links makes a huge difference. Like if you give away everything in that sentence, there's no reason for someone to click on it. So I'm always trying
Mm.
to find a way to like explain what it is without giving away too much information. So the copy is
Interesting.
important.
So it's
Yeah.
yeah, and I need to work on that. That's definitely interesting.
Yeah, because why would you click on something if it's just all right there for you? But if I say, "Oh, this is really awesome," you're gonna be like, "What
And
is
then you're
really?"
like,
And
what
you're
is?
gonna
It's
click
kind of clickbaity, right?
on
Like,
it. Yeah, but yeah, I think finding the balance between clickbait and curiosity.
yes, exactly. Not like the
Yeah.
9 things that you must see, or else.
But I think what's also really interesting about what I've learned over doing this email, like I really just did it for fun. I didn't do it to market
Mhm.
my business or anything. It was just something I did. Is that over time, that newsletter is kind of what told people like, hey, this is the MailChimp girl. So what happens is people that read my newsletter, they come into contact with someone and they're like, oh yeah, Emily sends this email and she's like, she does MailChimp, I think. So that newsletter has
Mm.
been huge for referrals for me.
Mhm.
Just keeping top of mind. I do think every newsletter needs to have some sort of goal. And my goal has always been just to, show up in the inbox, keep top
Mm-hmm.
of mind, and give really fun content. Like I want people to say
Mm-hmm.
like this email's like so fun and interesting and useful.
It's definitely fun. I definitely enjoy your gifts and even like the non-email stuff
Yeah,
that you put in there. Just like, here's a random thing. I think that's a
totally.
great idea for content.
Yeah, and kind of
Um,
putting your personality in it. I'm always like, "Ooh, I don't know if this image is a little much for people," but then I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Do it." Like that's
yeah.
what people end up loving is the stuff that I'm a little like,
Well, I know you
nervous
do that on
about.
social as well, where your social is kind of like you plus your business, right? Like it's like
Yeah,
a
it's a weird mix.
one and the same, I guess.
Yeah, it's all the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, cool. So, um, moving on, I'm just interested in at Westfield, are you using AI? And if so, how do you currently use it and what tools do you
Yeah.
use?
Oh, AI. It is amazing. And it's definitely like, I definitely look at it as an assistant to our work. Like
Mhm.
it's here to help us. That being said, like I do not really use it to create like full emails or anything crazy. I do use it for copy quite a lot. And especially like our little team uses it. Like we're like, what can this like we have to come up with a great headline for an email, so we'll pop in Chat GPT and use it, or use Mailchimp has some great AI tools built in, but I
Mhm.
definitely use it for copy and even just like ideas. Like I'll you know here's it, I need a headline or a subheading for this and give it lots of detail, but then I won't use what they gave me, but just kind of hope that it sparks some
It's like a
copy ideas.
starting point.
Always, yeah. Yeah, because I feel like you can tell, like, ChatGPT is amazing, but
Hmm.
you can tell when it's AI, I feel like. So we always want to tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I'm always wondering if it's AI or is everything just AI
Or
these
me.
days?
Yeah.
It's hard to know.
I mean, I don't use it in my personal newsletter at all. Really just in client work where I get stuck with oh, I
Hmm.
need a great subject line or something like that.
Got it. Got it. And ChatGPT is the main tool that you guys are using.
Yeah, we're using that. We're using, MailChimp's Intuit Assist tool. I've used
Hmm.
Klaviyo's subject line tool, which is actually really great. So just kind of those built-in tools are really help.
Hmm. Got it. Okay,
Yeah.
before we get to your gallery, I know you mentioned you have three kids. How do you run this business and have three kids? I have
Oh
two
my God.
kids, two little boys, and that's a lot.
Crazy. It is so hard. I mean, it's always been my biggest challenge for 9 years. Yeah, my son's almost 10, and my littlest one's finally in preschool, and I was like, this is the first time I've had like all three kids in school for a chunk of time. So
Hmm.
I've really relied on. She heard me. I rely on. We've done lots of preschools and lots of I'll have a babysitter come for like 2 or 3 hours just to give me a chunk of time.
Mm.
Um, but it's a constant challenge. Like my kids see me on my laptop all the time. Like when they get home from school, I'm like, sorry, I got to go back to work, guys. So it's not ideal and it's not glamorous at all. But it's just like, I have to get my work done and I have to take care of kids. So
Yeah, yeah,
you just figure it out. But yeah,
yeah,
I mean, once they're in school full time, it's magical.
yeah. My son
Magical.
just went to elementary school, and that's great.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what's going to happen in summer because they're off for
Oh,
like
summer's
2 months.
so
So,
hard. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
this will be our
Summer was
first.
really
Next year
hard.
will be our first summer. Where
But like that's the beauty of this business too. Like this summer was very difficult, but on Fridays I kind of just work took a back seat, and I'm like, it can wait. Like email, I always tell people there's no such thing as an email marketing emergency. It can wait. So I always like no matter what. Yesterday I went on a field trip with my daughter in the morning when I should have been working, and it's like, what? This won't last forever. I only have a few years of this. Even
yeah,
I
hundred
gotta
percent.
that comes first to me. So just
Yeah,
figure it out.
yeah. Okay. Lit is before. Let's jump into your gallery. I'm interested in
Yes.
how did you pick these?
Oh
Can you
my
see my
gosh.
screen?
This was so fun, and I love just having this page that I can look at.
This is your very
Um,
own gallery on Email Love. If you haven't checked it out, you
it's
can just go to the
so this
guests.
is Yeah. And you can save them and heart them, and it's just so
Hmm.
fun. So, like, if you kind of look and you scroll down slowly, I did notice a theme in kind of emails that I tend to enjoy, and they're all, obviously really bright colors, really fun, lots of big headlines. So I'm naturally drawn to really colorful
Hmm.
emails. I also just love Starbucks' emails all the time, so I had to save one of those.
Hmm.
Um, but I think, when I'm looking for what makes a great email, I love really simple emails that have a great image. Like the Starbucks one is an awesome example. A,
Let's jump
a
into it.
very, yeah, let's look. Their emails, oh my gosh, they just, whoever's doing them, they're so good. They always have
This is
a
really
gift.
cool at the top. Like you're a
Yeah,
member since 2009. I love that. I didn't notice that
just
before actually.
2009. Oh my God. I've been going to Starbucks since I was like in high school. That's crazy. So yeah, so this to me is kind of like a perfect email, even though it's kind of image heavy here. You have the
This is text.
huge buttons. Yeah, the
Hmm.
huge buttons, the very little bit of copy. I don't believe in lots of copy in emails. Very simple. Like, we have one
Hmm.
client that is like 1 to 2 sentences max of copy
Mm.
at the top. Um, but yeah, just the colors are beautiful. It's super easy to read. Like those headlines are really big, so it's just very easy.
Hmm.
I just think whoever's doing these, they're obviously a designer. They know how to use white space. I
Hmm.
mean,
Yeah,
I love like studying white space sometimes. I'm like, look how much space is between the
it's a
headline and the
lot.
text. Like it's a
Hmm.
lot, but it works. Sometimes you just have to do a little more than feels normal, and you'd be surprised. But yeah, no, I love Starbucks work all the time. How's it look in dark mode?
It's good. So they've used live text for most of the text, which is
Yeah,
impressive, I think,
yeah,
because it doesn't look. It looks like it could easily be an image only email, but
yeah.
all of this is live text. So in dark mode, it looks good.
The
On
buttons,
mobile,
the
it's
buttons
going
are
to look
dark,
good.
obviously. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's just a. Yeah, I
I
mean, I
love the
guess. Yeah.
yeah, I love that you can switch to dark mode here. It's so cool.
Yeah, so for everyone watching, there's controls on the left-hand side. I've noticed that some people don't realize that you can play around with. You can see it with images turned off. You can see here they
So
have some
cool.
nice alt text.
Hmm.
Looks great with images turned off as well.
Amazing.
Actually, yeah, the Starbucks team, they know what they're doing when it comes to
Yeah,
email.
they got
Obviously,
a little bit of money for that. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's
Um,
cool. But yeah, no, I'm really drawn to emails that are simple. Like people overthink their email marketing
mhm,
so much, and a lot of times people be like, "Well, does this only apply to e-commerce?" And I don't think it does. Like, you don't need a lot to convey a message. You need a simple headline. You need a teeny bit of copy and a button and a great
mhm,
image. And actually, I'll just share. If you scroll down a little bit, I love the email from Tatley, which is
mhm,
right here. And this, they're a brand that's just so fun, and I'm a big fan of the brand. But if you scroll down, so you see here they use one line of copy and a button, and then it
mhm,
is of course a lot of graphics. But what I love is if you keep scrolling to the very bottom, they have this little section that I look at every time, right here.
that's very cool.
Yeah,
This
and
photo.
I think honestly, this inspired my email years ago. But they include this in almost every email, and they're so good with the copy here. Like you see
Hmm.
that we love a decorative tile. Like you have to see what that is. They don't give
Hmm.
too much detail away. So I think it's just such a great use of a promo email to throw this in the bottom. They're going to get those clicks, and that's so important.
This definitely reminds me of your newsletter.
Yeah.
So
I may have pulled from there before. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's just inspiration, right?
Yeah.
Um,
And then I will share one from Postable because that's one of our clients.
mm,
Um, yeah,
this
we
one
can
here.
pull out. Sure,
There
yeah,
was
we can
two,
pull this
wasn't
one.
there? Yeah.
Yes. So these are
This
fun.
is awesome.
Postable. Yeah, they're Postable is just such a fun brand to work on because their cards are actually just awesome. But they're really big on keeping things really, really simple and short. And they sell an incredible amount through email. Like it's mind blowing how much money they
Hmm.
make. So yeah, we feature 4 cards and we put a button in, and then we put a little section about their latest Instagram reels at the bottom. But just really, again, like the product is great, so it kind of sells itself. But simple buttons, little
Hmm.
bit of text, little text.
Yeah, this is really nice.
Yeah, it's
Looks really good on
fun.
mobile.
And that is
Yeah,
a Klaviyo. That is Klaviyo email.
got it. Let's see.
Yeah. So those
There we
are.
go.
Oh gosh, don't test
Yeah.
me. um, but yeah. Oh, thanks. Carissa's here. Thank you for saying that. But yeah, these are just some favorites that I pulled. Instacart does a great job too of just
Hmm.
simplicity. They've they're one of my favorite email brands. Like this is a great example of their typical email. They'll give a discount at the top, and it always gets me too. I'm like, ooh, that's a good deal. Get $10 off. I mean, that's a great
Hmm.
deal. And then
Yep.
a humongous button, huge button.
Huge. Yeah. Let's see. That's a yeah.
Yeah,
HTML
and that
button, and then some
yeah,
categories here, and then the
and that's
repeat the
it.
button. Pretty simple.
Yeah. And a nice, like the footer is actually really nice because it's all kind of left aligned. It's really
Hmm.
simple. I like to study some email footers too.
I
It's
do
kind of
like
fun.
this layout. It's very clean.
Isn't that
Yeah,
nice?
I'm a weird fan of email footers. I think they, I don't know if they make that much difference, but I definitely appreciate them.
I did a talk actually for Litmus just on email
Mm.
footers last year, and I
Hmm.
learned so much because I learned that like people do click on a lot of those links at the bottom, and it is a crucial part of your email. Like you can really up your click
Hmm.
rate, you know?
I think people get to the bottom and they're like, well, I wasn't interested in anything up there, but I do want to look at this category, or I want to,
Yeah.
I want to look at a different part of the website. So I definitely think
Yeah.
it's worth having those links at the bottom somewhere.
Yeah. And I mean, there are so many emails I could add to this. We could just keep going. But yeah, this was just so fun to do. Um,
Hmm.
J. Crew's always been like one of my favorite brands for email. They're very image heavy, but it is. I will tell you, I have subscribed to this brand for so many years, and they send an email almost every day. No, they send one every day,
Wow.
and I still haven't unsubscribed. And I think it's just because like it's like a magazine. I'm like,
Mm.
oh, I just
Do
like
you
to peek
open
at
them?
it.
Do you
Oh
open
yeah.
all of them? Or?
I have to open every like email in my inbox. I have to open it. So yeah, I open them and then, whatever. I may not click on it, but I definitely open them still. But it's just so
Yeah,
pretty, right?
definitely. A lot of white space.
Yeah.
Pretty simple. Not good photography.
But they
Nice
send
animation.
I studied once like the frequency of J. Crew, and it is wild. They send a lot of emails.
I'm sure they do. They must do some segmentation if you're not opening.
Yeah.
I imagine you're probably in the most active segment.
Yeah, totally. Um, yeah, Carissa just said the J. Crew email style is so simple and pleasing. It is. It's just
Hmm.
it's not overwhelming to the eye.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm also a fan of Vacation. I think this
Yes.
is quite a cool one. What I like is that you never know what you're going to get when you open a vacation email. It's always
Yeah.
like a different color or a different style. Like it's, I think
Yeah.
this is their welcome email, obviously. But
Yeah. And they have some really fun ones. They're very much on brand. They're always fun. Um, the fonts are really interesting. It is all like center aligned, which is a little weird, but
yeah,
what I
yeah,
loved about this was the coupon.
yes, it does stand out.
Yeah, it's
Good
it's fun.
fun.
I almost want like, oh, and then there was that boat right there. That was a GIF. I don't know if that moves here, but that was a
Okay,
GIF that would
normally
go
there's a water.
across.
Okay, I'm not sure why they didn't.
Yeah.
show up here.
Which is cool. And then their products and buttons galore. So it's just fun. It's really fun.
Very cool.
Yeah, I almost want like when is music? When are you going to be able to open an email and music plays? Like I almost want music to play.
I have seen someone do that. I actually saw an agency do that a few years ago, and I opened the email in a meeting, and music started coming out of my phone, and
What?
I was like, "Can you not do music in the?"
Yeah.
Like, I don't expect music to come out of my inbox, so
That's
I
crazy.
was I was a little surprised by that. I have noticed Beehive started adding some kind, like Simon Harper had some kind of text or like a recording in his newsletter. If you have a look at it. It's a Beehive feature.
I like the multimedia.
It's not his voice though. It's like this American man's voice, and I was surprised by that.
That's weird.
I was like, aren't you Irish?
That is not you. That's so funny.
Yeah. Let's finish on one more. The other one I wanted to look at was this Postable one, because this one I remember this one really catching my eye. So this is like a background image, right?
Background GIF, yeah. And that was one we did for Postable, and I love it. They wanted to announce a new feature, and if you haven't used Postable, it is still like it's a client, but it's like my favorite address book card platform. But yeah, no, and then just these nice little sections left to right.
This is super clean. I love the layout of this.
Yeah, little rounded corners. It's just really fun. But again, it comes down to like having those images and graphics. Like these are, I think so many people don't realize the importance of like great photography for your product. Like images are everything.
Makes a big difference.
Yeah.
I don't know if you don't have to tell me, but how are you building these in like a drag and drop editor, or?
Yeah,
and you don't have to tell me which one, but I'm just wondering because it is a really nice design.
Yeah, this is a Klaviyo email, and yeah, I used to be embarrassed to really tell people that we kind of do a lot of drag and drop emails, but this is a drag and drop WYSIWYG editor. And yeah, we tend to, I'm not a coder. Like I'm not. I do know some basic coding for email. My sister's actually a coder, but we don't code full emails or anything like that. So yeah, it's the Klaviyo builder. The MailChimp builders are amazing. So it's very easy to do everything right in there.
Yeah, I mean, for a more simple design and layout, you don't need, you can do a lot of it in the drag and drop.
I mean, these are all just pulling in different layout sections, and everything can be. This whole email is done in the editor.
Very nice.
We may have coded in like the social icons. I think we did that, but that's it.
I like that. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Very cool.
Yeah. No, Postable's a fun email brand. But yeah, no, I love just kind of collecting. I was like, I want to collect emails that are really, really fun and bright and cheery. So that's kind of what I was going for here. The email camp one is amazing. It's so good.
I know Megan sent out one recently as well. But yeah, these are definitely. I love the illustration character. I'm not sure if these Muscly people have names, but I always am interested to open these emails as well.
Yeah, no, they're beautiful. And yeah, from Cinch, they're great.
That's right.
I threw in a few non-exciting ones, like the Microsoft one. I just came across that and was like, wow, this looks really good. It's kind of
I definitely like the layout. I like the the large fonts and animation. I personally think it's a super nice design.
Yeah. I mean, the neon buttons and even just the littlest thing, like if you scroll up a little bit to the game, like, oh my God, my kids play Fortnite all day, so I don't even know what I'm calling it. But right there, the blue controller.
Oh, this, yeah.
Yeah, like how it comes down a little bit right there from the black
Mm-hmm.
background. Like it makes it look like it's popping out.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the littlest thing like that of getting your part of your graphic to kind of come out of the canvas,
Mm-hmm.
it makes like a nice little difference.
Yeah, I've noticed that being used a lot. And actually, if we look at this in dark mode, what does that
Yep.
look like? Okay, so I would have got. Maybe they could have tried to do transparent here instead of a white background. That would have looked really good.
Yeah.
But
It
I mean,
didn't come
overall,
through.
this is pretty good in terms of dark mode optimization.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think transparent PNGs really pop in dark mode.
Totally. But yeah, that was a cool email.
Very good.
Awesome.
Okay, so I think that's all we have time for. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate the time. I hope everyone enjoyed this session, and yeah, follow Emily.
Thank you.
Sign up for her newsletter. It's super fun. Look out for it every Sunday.
That means I got to get it done right now.
Sorry, putting the pressure on.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And I just appreciate you asking me to be here. This is super fun for my Friday.
Of course. All right. Have a great weekend.
All right, guys. Bye. Thank you so much.